We're live.
Okay, so we are live. So we can start the meeting, is that right?
Yeah, you can call us to order. Yeah, totally.
Okay, so this is the Facilities and Services Committee meeting, Monday, August 3rd at 8:30. And we're talking about, I'm just trying to bring it up on my other computer. I think it's section 951, the ordinance on times for park opening and parks and village property opening and closing.
Yep.
That's not. I'm still looking for this on the computer here.
Do you want me to start talking?
Yeah, if you have comments on it, yeah.
Okay, so I'm good with like 99% of it. The only questions I have, my major questions really relate to how this impacts the cemetery. Because I think we need to clean up the language around the cemetery, because my understanding is that our intention is to keep the cemetery hours as governed by the cemetery ordinance, which is dawn to dusk.
Aaron, I have a suggestion.
Let me finish my thought.
Okay.
Because the space is set off the road, and we need to maintain the ability to not have people there beyond hours on a daily basis. And section F says that, we set the hours as from 11 to 6 earlier, and then section F sort of says, but whichever is longer if there's other rules. And I don't think we want to include the cemetery in that. Rob, what's your thought?
Well, my thought was if you're concerned with like a broad brush type of hours that would apply to everything, you could always end that with a comment of specific village facilities could have additional restrictions as implemented. So if you wanted to have stricter rules like we do with the cemetery for dusk till dawn, you could implement that separately, and it wouldn't affect your broad brush piece of legislation here.
So, yeah, and one of the versions that we had a separate sentence for cemetery. So maybe I'll just find that version and change it back to that.
Yeah, I think we need to.
Yeah, take cemeteries out of that paragraph and either give it a separate letter. Hi, Darren. There he's smiling now.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Sorry, I'm running a little late. Plugging in my headphones.
No worries.
Okay.
Yeah, so, okay, yeah, I did. So we were talking about the version of 951 that I sent out, and it's kind of a combination of what Dale had originally and some of the things that Aaron wanted added. And we were just now talking about the part about the cemetery and taking that out of section F, I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, taking it out of section F and giving it its own section. Do you want its own section, Aaron, or do you want to put?
I don't really have strong opinion on the section. The only thing is I would say I would refer it to I would maybe consider referring it to 953, which is where all the rules for the cemetery exist.
Okay, then, all right, I'll take out including cemeteries. Do you want me to do it now? And show you, I would take out that parenthetical phrase, including cemeteries. Take the cemeteries out. and then take it out later in that paragraph, and then have a sentence that says, cemetery hours are regulated under 953.
So you take away the parenthetical that says including, we're in section F, so delete including the cemeteries.
Yes,
So it would say the regulations for any use of public property may provide for earlier closures or later reopening on the following day. And in the event of the conflict between this section and another section or rules and regulations of the cemetery, the provisions providing for the longest number shall apply. So we'd get rid of or rules or regulations from the cemetery commission as well, is what you're saying?
yeah, we take out all that, yeah.
I'm just making the lines out as we talk. And then we would say cemetery hours are governed, we just add a sentence that says cemetery hours are governed under code section 953.
How about regulated?
Or that would be perfectly acceptable.
Mhm. Okay.
I'm trying to find which actual section.
Yeah.
Grave markers.
Nancy, I have 951 up. Is there another email that you've sent out that has this?
I sent out just the 95101.
Okay,
And you're July 31st, I sent the email.
got it. Yep, I have it up.
Yeah, you're on it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm seeing if I can find it so I can bring it up on the screen here.
Okay. I've got it up right now, but
Okay.
okay.
Aaron, are you looking for the code section?
Well, it's 951, but I'm wondering if it's in the actual rules, which is not an ordinance, but something that Rob maintains and council approves on an annual basis.
What, for
I don't-
cemetery?
Yeah, I don't think the cemetery rules are, I don't think the cemetery hours are actually created by ordinance. I think they're just done as a rule and regulation that the current, I mean, because 95304, it says, I mean, basically it says the CAO is authorized to promulgate the rules and regulations, and a current version shall be on file in the office of the CAO. And it's available on our website, right?
So are you saying that I thought that was.
I don't think it's
somewhere.
actually an ordinance.
Well, it could be a regulation.
I think it's a regulation.
Yeah, but it's got to be written someplace, otherwise.
It is. It's written on a separate document called the Rules and Regulations of the Cemetery,
Yeah.
where every little thing is laid out.
Mhm.
But it's not actually an ordinance, because the cemetery has the two elements. They've got the general ordinances, and then there's this non-ordinance rules and regulations. But I don't know, should ours be an ordinance? They may need to be in order to be fully enforceable.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I know that we changed some of the cemetery stuff a couple of years ago when we went to the revised code. We used the revised code for some of it. So we changed some of the ordinances. I don't remember all the details of the changes, though.
Sorry, I thought it was in there. I don't know why this didn't oh, I think last time I had a copy of the rules and regulations on me. So that's my bad, that I didn't realize it wasn't an ordinance.
Yeah, well, those might have been adopted by ordinance somewhere too.
Yeah, and not codified, but just accepted.
Well, if they were adopted by ordinance, then they're codified.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Burial procedures, grave markers. I mean, because there's a lot of rules about cemeteries. Decorating and landscaping.
Well-
Yes. Okay, well, I
I mean,
mean,
I suppose we could put that in here. The
Yeah,
sunrise to
maybe.
sunset
yeah, dawn to
That's a good
dusk.
idea.
as a separate sentence, just put it right there. It's under you know, because it is, what is this called? Park, what is it?
Well, should it go under B?
Public property. It's public property, so that's public property. So we could just put a sentence that says that.
Should it go under B instead
Yeah,
of F?
yeah, you've got some times in B already, right?
Yeah,
Between 11 to 6. Except unauthorized D and C.
D like in David?
no,
B.
B is in boy,
Oh,
or maybe B is in buffalo.
yeah, that might be a better place to put it.
Okay,
I wouldn't put the specific hours.
Yeah, I
though.
think that B would be a better place to put it.
So you mean
Bob,
remove,
what were you gonna say? I can't find this where the cemetery rules say dawn to dusk, but I'm only skimming.
I'll have to do some research into that.
Do you not want us to put dawn to dusk in here? Why not?
I would not, because then if it gets changed at another time, then people are gonna have to remember to come back to this ordinance to do it. Yeah, well, you are kind of covering everything under the title of this, prohibited hours in public property.
I mean, do we
I
think-
just like keeping things that are specific to a certain facility under, if there's other rules for that facility, keep them all in one place. So if they get changed or amended, it's all in one spot and not in 2 or 3 different places.
I agree. The only
Because
thing
we
I
have
would say,
conflicts like that that have come up in the past and it's been a problem.
Yeah, but this has to include the cemetery if it's different from what we're saying.
Sure.
We have to say something about the cemetery, so
You can reference, well, that's a problem if we don't have another
it just, it
regulation.
doesn't hurt to have it in 2 places. So we need to have that sundown,
well, so the
sunrise
cemetery-
to sunset.
The Cemetery Commission is going through its rules and regulations at its next meeting. That's our agenda. So we could get it put in then, knowing that we'll, I mean, 2 thoughts. One, if we really want to close loops, we could put it in here for now and cross it out as we do the full parks rules. And in the meantime, we'll get it put into the cemetery thing where it belongs. Would that work?
You have to make an exception here for the cemetery, no matter what you do.
Agree. I'm saying
You
let's
have
do
to
it. in
say
here.
that, and you have to say that here.
I know, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying, let's put it in here now, and when we go through and do the full rules, which still needs to be done, we can take it out then and get it moved over to the cemetery thing in the interim.
But you don't have to take it out. You can have it in 2, as long as it's the same, you can have it in 2 places. Planning and
Right.
zoning, the section on planning and zoning, you know, we repeat things in different sections.
is it the same language in both sections?
It should be, yeah.
But some-
Rob, is that okay with you? Weren't you saying you?
That should be, that's fine. It seems like that's what you want to do. That's fine. We can make it work.
Okay, so we'll put the hours in here.
Okay.
Can you add those sentences in, Nancy?
You want to put it under B. I think it should be its own section though. And not try to,
That's fine.
so you want to make it C, or do you want to put it down lower under?
I think it should be as close to B as possible. I mean, we could do B1 and B2, all property except cemeteries as 1, and then number 2.
You don't have to number them then if you're just going to put it in that paragraph.
Right, I'm just saying make paragraphs. I don't care, it's up to you, whatever you prefer.
Well, the exceptions are D and E, so. Yeah, I think it should be. How about making it F?
Sure.
Okay. So I'll take it out of E, take all cemeteries out of E and put it in F.
B,
B, right?
B in Buffalo. Okay.
Okay. I don't. How about if I change it and send it back around?
Okay, let's go through anything else though, guys, before we do that.
On this, on 951?
Yeah.
Just in general?
Yeah.
Not really, not,
So this, yeah. I mean, do we in this sort of give Rob the ability to permit all events? So they don't need to come to council anymore? Am I reading that wrong?
Not all, well, I'm not sure I'm looking at the same version that you are.
Do you not have it? Hold on, Rob. I'll send
Can you
it to you.
shoot
right
it to me real quick?
now. Yeah.
I have a
What do
few
you-
different versions and I want to make sure.
Aaron, what are you talking about? This
This
section?
Hold on.
I
I'm not good at multitasking.
think
Um,
Rob is asking for this version you sent out, Nancy,
Yeah.
this 95101.
Yeah, do you have it?
I just sent it to him.
You did, okay. Yeah, but Aaron, if you want to, this is not the section where you would do that. This is just hours.
I understand that was the intention. Let me explain why I'm asking if we've done that inadvertently. Because we say in D, as in dog, persons, well, so this is just for app, never mind. Never mind, it's all good. I was just misreading. When you use all the words, it doesn't actually do it for every event, just for events past 11 PM, which I'm
That-
comfortable.
That's the intent.
No, you're
In-
right. I read
In
too-
River Run Park. Past 11, right?
Well,
Just that.
yeah, generally the hours apply to everything except the limited exception for River Run Park.
Right.
Does that, and then if we need to host, if we need to provide accommodations for carnival workers or like art vendors, we can still do that through their actual event permit.
Permit, right.
That's,
Correct? So
That's-
that Rob has that discretion to.
Yeah.
I
That
shouldn't
would
say,
be, that would make sense.
well, yeah, I mean, we haven't really developed a permit for that.
right, so it goes
for the
under our
events,
permit.
but we would use, that would be part of the permitting process for those kinds of events.
Agree. And then because of G, it also means that, no offense, Rob, but Rob could never like put people in the Triangle Park overnight because we've
Yeah.
created a clear ban on that through G.
I believe that he is limited to this ordinance to only permitting overnight parking in River Run Park with those parameters.
But he, right. Okay,
So, and, you know, the other permitting process for other types of events and other places would be
Under
specific to those places and those events or types of events.
okay. Under G, I do think we should add Grove Hill Park as well, since we've officially accepted
Right,
that.
yes,
legislation.
I left that
Yeah.
out. And I also forgot, what do we call the Founder's Field? Is that what we call that?
Yeah, Founder's Field.
Okay,
By the Armory.
I forgot to put that in there. I forgot Grove Hill.
I don't think we want to ban it at Founder's Field though, do we, Rob?
I don't know if anybody's ever camped out there.
I think we should, and if we need to change it and add something there, we can.
Okay, or I guess council can always like give a waiver for an ordinance, can't we?
Not sure, but
I'm not sure.
I don't know how
it
that
wouldn't be difficult to permit it if it
Seems like it.
came up. But there's also that Cleveland Street property. I mean, we do say all village property, so,
They're all village property.
so that includes,
Well, no, in G, we're saying, we're putting a hard stop on Riverside Conservation Triangle, Bell Street Park, Franklin, Falls Viewing 1 and 2, and then now Grove Hill Park.
And we can add any, we can add a general statement too. All other village-owned property, owned by the village now or in the future. And that would cover anything we own or come to own.
I guess I wanted to leave room for discretion in the service areas so that Rob has, I am fine with it as it is. As long as we add, under G, if we add Grove Hill Park, then I'm fine.
Mhm.
That's the only other addition I'd like, and then I'm good with the rest of it.
G-
Okay,
I think you need to just add something under G where you say, in no event shall a park use permit be authorized. And you might want to add for overnight use or something, because if you just take that G, I know it's under the overall discussion of overnight use of parks, but you might want to add that there because it just looks like in no event shall a park use permit be authorized for these parks. Well, a park use permit can be, but the overnight is what we're not allowing for those parks.
yeah, but it's this specific type of use permit.
I would just add it because somebody will bring this up on
Bring
something
what?
else. Trust
Don't
me,
you have-
get enough legal challenges on other things.
Bring what exactly up, Rob, are you saying?
When it's not specifically, they'll bring up just this type of specific clause about something and say, look, you can't permit anything in these parks. These are not where you have events. And I'll say, but that's not under I'm just saying as an example, I've been challenged before on specific language in an individual passage. I think we just need to add overnight use.
Is
So-
that covered up in,
Part, so the sentence stands by itself. In no event shall a park use permit for overnight use be authorized for Riverside for these parks.
isn't that covered in B already, Rob, where it talks about 11 PM to 6 AM?
Probably.
You can't be in any portion of public property in the village between the hours of 11 to 6.
But question, I guess, my question I think is by calling this a park use permit, is that what's partly causing the confusion? Does it need to be called an overnight park use permit?
That's a good point.
I like having just one park permit and having not having two, and overnight use is part of that.
We're gonna have more than, there isn't gonna be just one permit. We're gonna have several types of permits.
Because this doesn't address
Don't
all
see
the.
the need for that.
I don't personally don't see any way for us to have one permit to cover every park. I think we're gonna have to have, we've talked about this and we're sort of working on it, but it can't be one permit covers all. There's too many differences to them.
Okay.
So I don't think that's gonna be possible. I mean, this is just for the hours and extended hours. It's not other uses. It just isn't intended to.
I'm in line with you, Nancy.
Yeah.
Can we call it an overnight park use permit? I know it's wordy and not.
How about extended hours?
That's fine too.
Okay, because, somebody, I suppose it's possible that somebody might want to have something in River Run Park that was not completely overnight.
Okay.
So extended, and it is about hours, so.
Sorry, this camera keeps coming in and out of focus. It doesn't like it when I move in my chair. My apologies. Okay. Any other changes or thoughts?
Not for me.
We don't have any signage requirement here, correct?
Yes,
It's not a prerequisite to enforcement, though. You're supposed to
Oh,
post.
you're gonna have signs then put up all over all these parks, just so you know that. And where do you put them at all these parks too?
they don't have to be all over. You can just post, subject to Dale contradicting me, which he certainly might.
So it's visible, it has to be visible, so when you arrive at the park, you see what
Rob, read section C.
yeah.
It says the CAO
Oh, yeah,
has signs notifying the public of the hours.
yeah, I know.
Determine on other grounds it determines should have signs, but the placement of such signs shall not be a prerequisite to enforcement. So I
And
think we can say that it's not necessary to post signs at Bell Street, at Franklin Park. I think you can say there's places it doesn't make sense to post signs because of visual clutter, inability to actually see this, like, there's rational reasons.
Well, I don't think they have to be giant signs, but
No, they'd be small.
I mean, this is yeah, I remember somebody put a sign in Triangle Park once that was awful, but fortunately they took it down pretty quickly. But I mean, I do think this is, this is something that we should ask Dale to opine on,
Yeah, I mean, he wrote that section.
the signs.
Yeah, we didn't change section C at all.
I know we didn't change it, but specifically where we put signs and how many and so forth, I think
Yeah,
is
let's
a
talk.
question for him.
I think
you
we
know,
should
what-
do that at council with him, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if we adopt this with those changes or recommend it to council with the changes, I'm gonna send it to him anyway,
Yeah, agree.
so.
Okay.
And I'll do that before sending it out to the rest of council, just, he might not like any of it I don't know. He hasn't seen it, so,
It's happened before.
yeah, right. And he is the boss in this stuff, so,
We do defer to his opinion, yes.
yeah.
Okay, I'm good otherwise to
Yeah.
recommend this to council as changed. Do we want to do a motion or do we want to see it before we do that? Like, what's our procedurally?
That's up to you.
The changes are pretty small. You're including those two parks, right? From this 95101. What else are we adding to this thing?
We're cemetery, we're making it separate,
Right.
a separate thing for the cemetery and deleting that from.
I'm okay with it.
Me too. Do you want a motion, Nancy, or do you want to call it consensus?
Let's make a motion, subject to these amendments, and I'll send it out. And if I make a mistake, let me know
Okay.
as soon as you
Okay.
can.
So I would motion to recommend this to council with the changes discussed today.
Great.
Second,
Okay, aye.
Aye.
I
aye.
love it when you vote. I hate having a motion out there without like the closure of
Yeah.
it.
No, you're right.
Okay,
Works
All
for
right,
me.
I'll make those corrections and send them to you, and it's subject to your approval, I'll send it to Dale and see what he says.
fantastic.
Okay,
Thank you. Anything else?
Not for me.
Okay, well, we're
Thanks, everybody.
gonna go get a
Thank you.
tooth
Thank
fixed.
you.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Aye.
thanks.
Bye.
Did we get you out in time, Aaron? Good, okay. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Rob.
Yep, thank you.